Welcome to Haaseline Entertainment, Revelation of the Spirit, and we're going to continue our extravaganza on marketing in store and online, as we like to call it, retailtainment and e-tailtainment. So last time we were talking about some of the challenges of what the marketing world would like to call omni-channel marketing. And there's a push by retailers as well as brands to to have marketing go more in the online marketplace because of cost. And we talked a little bit about that. And the ability to now, with COVID and a lot of restrictions on time and energy, the shift is being made that, shopping needs to be more concise when one goes to a brick and mortar store, and the important feed of marketing and information is outside of that store. And we understand all of those dynamics here at Houseline Entertainment. But today we want to talk a little bit about the advantages and potentially the challenges on both brick and mortar promotions as well as online. So let's talk a little bit about brick and mortar, and we might want to, will you kind of use Oreo stacking, which was the crown jewel of retailtainment at Walmart back when we were living the dream. But anyway, brick and mortar, here's some of the advantages. First of all, it is a tangible experience. There's We have been moved to a electronic, emotional interaction as consumers and as individuals by our phones, by our computers, and I'm okay with that because technology is a wonderful thing, and it certainly allows me to do these kind of things right now that didn't happen in the past. But the tangible experience of actually having what we call FOMO, the fear of missing out, of an in-store interaction with the retailer. And again, if that shopping experience at a retailer is one of your strategic advantages, then in-store promotion is very, very important to you. Also, just feeling the textures of products, trying them, particularly if they're edible. Um, these are all advantages right there. And as we like to say, we're aisles away from the purchase than miles away. Um, so again, having a sampling, being able to try them out and have that sensory experience, you're not going to get that from a phone. You're not going to get that from a computer. So unless we get into the old smell-o-vision that we had the craze back in the 1950s, where you got a little scent card as you watched a movie. But anyway, the other one is just personal interaction. So again, it's one thing to have content and have it be delivered to you, um, from a computer or from an online interaction. But again, having the right person, the right agencies to deliver your product, and the right interaction, the right pattern, the right delivering of a sample or of a tchotchke that may go along with it. We didn't mention that in that other tangible experience is that, we used to give away tons and tons of fun things. Because back then we actually gave away CDs and cassettes. But certainly we know today that that all transferred into downloads and things like that. But these, as simple as a button, was a kit that went out to the stores. Um, I, I remember Walmart associates wearing their vests and having all of these retailtainment buttons, advertising events, advertising. In this case, it's Fantastic Four movie. It's also got a little thing on there for 5 a day for kids eating five fruits and vegetables. a day, which was a big push back then. It's a nice health and wellness piece, and the stores and the associates got involved in it. And not only that, the retail people. Now, I worked with a DSD company, and having an event and getting ready for that event and having that interaction with the store manager and with the department manager and being able to be ready to go on that Saturday, which is, the preferred date to have retailtainment because that's the biggest shopping day um, of the year. This was all strategically done in order to hit as many people as you could. Um, Also, there's that instant gratification. So customers don't have to wait for trying a new product or having it mailed to them if it's a mailing sample to them. They get to try it right there again while they're shopping. And I can tell you that, a lot of our interaction was done with moms and kids. We realize that moms want to get in and out of the store, but we all know if from the brand, we certainly always heard about the nagging factor of that child getting something, and particularly if it was Oreo and stacking Oreos, not only did they buy Oreos that day because they stacked and were excited about participating, but they were buying them all year, getting ready for this annual event that we had. And although Oreo stacking didn't last very long at total store marketplace, it went on at Walmart for 5 years. And we actually, the last year that I was involved in it, we did it globally. So it happened in South America, it happened in the UK, where we had Walmart stores. And again, it's the brand experience. Now, I realized back when we first started Oreo stacking, it was as simple as a card table, a tablecloth, napkins, Oreos, a stopwatch. Sometimes they just used their own watch, and kids came over and stacked. And again, we used to give out these little bendable Oreos, and I should have that here as a prop, but I don't. But and that was enough to stir amazing sales. Later on, as we tried to progress Oreo stacking, we tied it into to obviously some great IPs. Um, in some cases, we used Ken Griffey Jr. when it was around baseball season. We used the Incredible Hulk when it came out into theaters. So there's different ways of taking a FOMO, a retailtainment event, and spicing it up year to year so that you grow that audience. Now, there's some challenges with that, and particularly we know the challenges now because of the other side of the marketing funnel here, which is online. Is that it is a limited reach. You're only going to reach um, the people that are there experiencing the full enjoyment of this fear of missing out of Oreo stacking. So it's that one day, and if you're doing a 2 to 4 hour event, that's it. You only get that limited audience that came at that time. But remember, we advertised Oreo stacking months before in order to get everybody ready for that specific day. So it's not like it would even the experience, whether you were there to experience it or not, you were seeing the fact that Oreo stacking was back at stores on our displays. And look, I was lucky enough to work for a company that had permanent displays that we were able to do signage for and get the consumer ready for our next event. The biggest downfall for a brick and mortar retailtainment event is the cost. And we talked a little bit about that, but by the time you get a body out there for 2 to 4 hours, you've got the product that you have to pull for the sampling and potentially some kind of a tchotchke. The cost of all of that, again, for myself, back when there was only 2,800 Walmarts, was about $500,000 to do those events. So now with 4,200 Walmarts, that doubles. It's probably $1 million investment. And so partnering became a really strong piece in that to cut those costs. And in my case, particularly when we were sampling salty snacks, we would get a partner like Coca-Cola on board to help split the cost of that sampling to the event. and that was usually no problem. But I get that the piece of course comes in. Granted, I doubt if I was doing that again for Nabisco and Kraft, I'd be able to do 12 retailtainment events, one per month. Um, and I doubt if Walmart would want to do, or any other retailer would want to do, multiple retailtainment events every weekend. But I think that doing none, which is where I see a lot of the retail marketplace going, is not acceptable either. So I think that there's a trade-off there, and again, by partnering, I think that the costs can become reasonable. And again, if the event is thought out well and has longevity, has an eternal return. That from a company like Haaseline Entertainment that can create one for you, then that event will yield and most of the time we had at least a 10-to-1 payout. Now, I will tell you that I had a great sales team, and myself, I would go out and meet with the divisional managers, which, back then probably had 400 stores under their tutelage. And I would do Oreo stacking at their managers' meetings, their regional meetings, so that I got them involved, so that they knew it was coming. There was an opportunity here to sell Oreos, which, again, for most retailers, is a lost leader that they can use to bring and have a point of difference in the marketplace. And you are dependent on foot traffic. And that's why most of the time on all of our retailtainment events, we shot for a Saturday when we knew that the foot traffic would be the heaviest. So those are some of the things that are essential to a strong brick and mortar promotion. Now let's switch to the other side, the online promotions. There's no doubt that with online, with phones and computers and all kinds of messaging, notifications, that you're going to get a wider reach on whatever it is you are promoting. There's no doubt. I always said to people, and we just, if you heard last month's show, we used the internet, but it was like back when we had computers that weighed and monitors that weighed about 4,000 pounds. So it was hard to. It was just the beginning of what we would call online or e-tailtainment. It is more cost effective. There's no doubt about it that you don't have the overhead costs associated with the physical attributes and the things that you need to do at brick and mortar. And you do have 24/7 accessibility, so it's not limited to a 2 to 4 hour event on a Saturday, but it is something that can be accessed and dropped to the consumer consistently. Um, there is a lot of data that can be obtained from that. I mean, quite frankly, there was a lot of data on the brick and mortar side, no doubt about it. But you also on the online side, I think there's a lot more data that you can, by following this consumer, through from advertisement to purchase. So I get that there's a lot more data. But imagine, again, we're talking about omni-channel marketing. And again, the agencies love to talk about omni-channel marketing, but they're all pushing everything to online e-tailtainment or e-tail marketing. And when you talk about in-store, there's a conversation about, oh yeah, we're doing the in-store piece. And to be honest with you, when I get with brands and I get with people that are willing to be honest about promotions, there is still a gap, and there always will be a gap between spend and the actual data to constitute the spending of that money, whether it's TV advertising, whether it's online advertising, or whether it's in-store marketing. But if you're truly going to be an omni-channel marketing marketeer, I think you probably need to do all three of those things, and you need to do them well. Um, The other piece is that obviously there's some automation that can be done. A lot of promotions like email. There's a lot of social media ads. There's a lot of flash ads that can be automated that save time, obviously, in the campaign of whatever the promotion is you're doing. So there is no doubt that the online e-tailtainment piece of omni-channel marketing has made things much more effective and put a nice connecting bow on what we would call traditional marketing that happened, back in my heyday. And then, of course, the challenges is again, pretty much the advantage of doing a brick and mortar one is there's that lack of physical interaction. Um, and I think the other piece is that, your audience, you have a different audience that likes to be interactive in the flesh, and then you have some people that do like to be, they're introverted. They like being interacted by the phone. But both of these two still exist. And I see that after COVID, and of course COVID forced a lot of brick and mortar out of the stores, but it's also now because of 2 years of COVID and a lot of changes and a lot of content coming at you on your TV, on your phone, on your computer. A lot of people are looking for events, are looking to get out again, are looking to have that physical evidence of marketing and the fear of missing out. And the advantages that has in our capitalistic society. Um, the other one is customer trust. There's something about having that personal experience of brick and mortar with that product, again, being able to buy it right there in the physical sense. I think that has a more bonding experience with your brand and with the shopper. And again, I add on to that the people that are actually physically working your product, that are your employees of that brand, as well as the retail people. That interaction is priceless, and it's not going to be necessarily driven as well in the brick and mortar side of the business that it is in the e-tailtainment side or the internet side of the business. Um, and then, of course, there's a lot of, as I said, there's a lot of clutter. There's a lot of competition. Whereas, again, remember, when you do a brick and mortar promotion, and in most cases, those brick and mortar promotions that I did, we were the only one doing the event that weekend. So we owned the weekend in that store. And if it was done correctly, and the strategy behind it, and the thinking behind it. And now, of course, with this entire online piece that you can add to it, it makes that brick and mortar event even better by combining both. And of course, the other piece that's when somebody orders the online piece, let's just say they order from a Walmart.com or an Amazon, you've got the shipping delays, and you've got the delay of getting that product to you, and sometimes that becomes an irritant in marketing for the online experience. So which one is better? Um, really, you have to search first of all, a combination of both is what's better. But you have to search your brand, and you have to understand what your brand can do on a specific holiday, on a specific season. I know we've been talking about Oreo stacking, and we used to do that right when school ended. Most of the time, like in June, going into the summer when we knew there'd be a lot of picnics. You got a lot of holidays coming up, 4th of July, Memorial Day, right, in that kind of same situation. It was the perfect timing for that. And plus, we also knew that during that time at brick and mortar, that the real estate was available for merchandising. And we got after it. And of course, like I said before, we had a DSD team that was second to none. Our sales reps and great people that I worked with that handled retail. To throw his name out, Charlie McMenamin, who was, pretty much my right-hand guy when it came to retail and motivating sales reps to be on task when it came time for those retailtainment events. You had to get your entire organization to buy in to what you were trying to do. And I think the biggest piece is as a marketeer was I was willing to go out and do the legwork that was associated with it. I was willing to travel around and make sure that that event, particularly maybe where it wasn't happening 1 year or 1 month, I'd go out and make sure I'd find out what the reasons were. And there was a great post analysis of a lot of these promotions, whether they're e-tailtainment or retailtainment. So I hope that that's a good wrap up on this subject of the difference between brick and mortar marketing and online promotions. And again, I challenge marketers, I challenge retailers to get back in the game on both of these. They're very important. I understand the cost piece. I understand the money being made and monetized on the online piece. But Walmart built where they were and where they've come from in-store marketing, and it wasn't and it's not even as you're not even able to do as much as you can back when I first started. Again, back when I first started, it was a card table, a package of Oreos, and a stopwatch, and that was it. We weren't allowed to get beyond that. And we pushed the needle as much as we could with those restrictions. But today, Walmart's open to pretty much everything. The traditional Walmart marketing, the hat's been taken off. The game is big. The challenges are there, but the opportunity to own in store and to own online, and not let the profiteers, and that could be the retailer as well as the people that are giving you your money for your marketing budget. Don't let the profiteers drive what's right for the business. So there's another episode of Haaseline Entertainment, marketing from brick and mortar to online, but most importantly to the shopper, as Walmart would say, number one. And I know that's for all retailers. The shopper is the bottom line. Do you know your shopper? Do you know what your shopper likes? And I trust me, I think that when retailers start to get back to the brick and mortar marketing, integrating with all the money and all the funding and all of the resources they've got going in monetizing their online business, and they connect it properly with what they need to do in store, you're going to see the ones that do that rise to the top, and be the leaders in the next decade. Anyway, thank you again from Hostline Entertainment. We're happy to have you here. Just a couple throw-ins for a couple brands we're representing. First of all, if you are obviously we're all consuming a lot of content. We're all working hard. If you need a little relaxation and you're up to the CBD business, we recommend Olo. Go to ololife.com and check out their CBD products, um, for muscle relief, for tension relief, and for a good night's sleep. Check them out. And then also, hey, how about the hair? Man, Haasline hair is looking pretty heavy today, and I'd like to thank my sponsors, Peter Lamas Hair Care. Go find them online, and you will have fantastic hair like the Doobster. Doobie Haas right here, which is what my granddaughter calls me. I hope you all had a great, happy St. Patrick's Day. I know we did. You can probably see the cheeks are a little bit puffier from that corned beef and cabbage. But again, everybody have a great week. Next week, we'll be going to the LPRC, which is the Loss Prevention Research Council Impact in Gainesville, Florida. We will be meeting with over 100 retailers and solution partners in the fantastic, exciting world of loss prevention, trying to make your stores safer, and make organized crime empty in the marketplace, so that we can shop safer, and we can purchase our goods, and keep our employees as well as shoppers more safe. Anyway, have a blessed week, and we will be talking soon.